Hello, hello, hello. Sir David the Bard. This doesn't qualify for garments. You got to have shoulders for garments. Anyway, I never had shoulders. Anyway, Sir David the Bard, I'm coming to you from Kangaroo City, and the lady that wrote me from Australia, sweet as can be, and I'm down here in Kangaroo City. I don't know if she said she was Melbourne or I don't know, but by a kangaroo hop, it's a short distance. So if you want to get coffee sometime, go find someone that drinks coffee. I never liked this shit. I didn't like smoke. I didn't like coffee. I like a little alcohol, light. Maybe a light red or white wine. And when I'm in the Mormon church, I like tequila. Didn't drink. I didn't drink at all. Now here's what I wanted to do my video on today. My last video, I tried to give you people some profound answers to life. Now, those profound answers to life lie in quietness, sometimes in silence. If you've got rap music on, you're not going to get a lot of inspiration about the true meanings of life. Now try to be I don't know, entertaining in my old age here. Some of you think I'm funny, and I think I'm funny, but I was the only one for like 55, 60 years. No one else thought I was funny until I got on here. So anyway, here I'm trying to give you some really profound information and knowledge most humans will never get. And I told you a few of you would take it to heart and understand what I was trying to say. Now, I have to say that, and I told you in the last video, that there's going to be a lot of you that just turn it on for 8 or 10 seconds and go, this sucks, I'm going somewhere else. Go watch Mickey Mouse or something highly intelligent. So anyway, off you go. Now, I have a couple of listeners, and sometimes they're as dumb as the real listeners. I don't know why. Now, one of the things that I tried to do on that video was that I wanted you to listen to my words, and I wanted you to understand when you saw that universe that you created that. Nobody else did. You people created that, and you'll go on creating, and that there's not much life anywhere in there, but as we have come to a place to learn, we will go back into that universe and continue to create, and it will have more life in it. Anyway, it was profound crap. It really was. And my audience isn't that profound. In fact, I think my audience IQ is right at 73. Average. Half are above it, half are below it. So anyway, I did something that is tricky. BYU taught me to do this as a social worker. Rather than you listening, I wanted to distract you. And I did. Now, many people say that I'm not from this place. I'm not going to reveal one way or the other whether that's true. You decide for yourself. Most of you think I'm out of this world, so there's the answer. So, I wanted to show my umbilical cord that truly I was born into this life and onto this planet. Now, that doesn't prove anything. I could have come in a rocket ship. I could have come in a garbage truck. You don't know. You don't know where I came from. But anyway, I wanted to demonstrate I was born. Now, I have one, I'm going to say sweet, on-watcher, onlooker, peeping Tom, whatever you want to call her. And she wanted to know if she rubbed my belly, would she be lucky? Now, I'm not a Buddhist. I'm not a Muslim. I'm not a Hindu. I'm not a Mormon or a Christian. I'm an atheist. Now, here is the answer to that question, because sometimes I will answer reasonable questions. Have you seen this girl? She's a cutie. She wanted to know if she rubbed that, would she get lucky? She doesn't know what luck is. She'll get more than lucky. She'll get ecstasy. Celestial kingdom in an instant. So anyway, there's her answer. Now, I've had a nurse, I think it's the Australian person, the nurse that says, your shortness of breath. I said, well, maybe I am. I'm scared all the time that I'm doing these. The Mormons could get me, so, I am short of breath. Well, I didn't know I was short of breath because I don't breathe a lot. Apnea is my second friend. My first friend is Oxycontin. God, I would have never survived quad bypass without Oxy. So anyway, she's my first, and shortness of breath is my second favorite thing here. And so, I'm finding that there's a lot of smart people out there, and they're diagnosing what's wrong with me. Now, the Mormons have no psychological background. So when they say, I'm fat, I'm ugly, I'm crazy, one said, I hope I'm going to cut your mother's head off. Well, she's dead. She doesn't care. Neither do I. And one missionary said, I hope your family dies of leukemia. I said, well, that's a pretty pleasant way to die compared to the way I think I'm going to die. So anyway, you're evaluating me. And I didn't know that, I thought, I don't know what I thought. I guess I have doctors, nurses, psychologists, legitimate professionals. The Mormons who say apostate and out of darkness, that's kid stuff, so let them do it. Anyway, I thought I would be ready today for more diagnosis from all of you. If any of you see anything that medically is wrong, let me know. Now, as you know, this pump keeps me alive. There's several pumps that keep me alive. Anyway, this one is the insulin pump. Bitchin' machine. Damn, $4,000. $4,000. But I'll tell you what, you got insulin with you 24/7, and there's two things you can do. It's called bolus and a basal rate. A basal rate just pumps into you all the time. Every hour it puts in 0.4 or 2 units or 1, small units. Then when you go to eat, like I just went down and I had a little something to eat there, I just pick it up, I dial in bolus, I push it up here, there's 1 unit, 2 units, 3 units, bam, that's it. It'll automatically now leak in an extra 3 units. So anyway, this keeps me alive, and the insulin is supposed to be Humalog, but I can't afford Humalog, so I just put water in it, and I fantasize that my sugars are going down and down. I say, that's good water, that's really good water. So here I am, and I just wanted to let you know that those of you that have the medical backgrounds, and then those of you, like my friend, that wanted to rub my tummy that are sexually crazy, active, cougar. Is that what you call them? When I was at BYU, they called everybody a cougar. But I think cougar now has evolved into a word of, a woman who just, hot. So anyway, she can rub this anytime. Just give me a phone call, and you'll have luck you won't believe. Now, for the rest of you who have the medical background, and the Mormons too, the Mormons can see the spirit, and they can see the aura. Now here it comes. Look at that. Man boobs with hair. Here she goes down. Anyway, this is the insert for the pump, and it comes up here on a string. Well, it's an empty, it's a plastic tube, and so it goes down there. So this here, about every 3 or 4 days, I have to tear it out and then punch in a new needle, and it'll put a new tube in, and every 3 days I have to fill the little thing there. Now I want you to know, I'm sitting. Now when I'm standing, it can be hot stuff. If you're blind, can I feel, I know that girl. No, it's not a girl. No, you don't know that girl. Now, anyway, let's see, I don't see it on there. Let me zoom in on myself, which is really, really scary. No, I can't. The quad bypass, really, he did a pretty good job on the scar. It goes from here to here. There's a scar from here to here. And he opened up the barn, and he looked inside and he goes, God, there's nothing in there. I go, that's what my ex-wives have been telling me forever. There's no heart. I know there's no heart. Well, anyway, he takes this rib stretcher and he puts it into my ribs and stretches them. Says, "Can you breathe?" No. He said, "Good. That's what's supposed to be going on." So then he goes in there and he cut a vein out of my leg. And boy, these days it's cool. It's just a little tiny Band-Aid scar. Back in the old days, man, you'd have a scar from your crotch all the way down to your ankle, tearing a tube out. I think what they do now is they snip it and then they pull it out like a piece of string. So anyway, he put the additional things in there. Now, those of you that are medical, now see, I'm here for my physical. Next video is going to be for the proctologist. Bend over. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And then, you know, I've had a colonoscopy, and I'm trying to get one of those once a week now. Well, if I could get it every other day, that would be good too. But you know, they don't think it's going to grow that much every other day, and they've accused me of some sexual behaviors that they go, we ain't doing that anymore. So anyway, here's my med bar. Now I used to just take meds out of the cupboard, but I overdosed once on Humalog. I took, oh my God, I forget, 150 units of Humalog, and I thought it was not Humalog. I thought it was something else, and then I looked at it and I go, holy shit, I'm gonna die. So I go driving over to the hospital, and it's a wonderful hospital, St. Mark's, here in Kangaroo City. And they took me right in and gave me orange juice and pumping sugar all through me. So anyway, I almost did that. So then I overdosed on Valium once. This one, I was in Newbury Park, California, and Paso Robles Hospital, I think. And I was pissed one day. And of course, my meds weren't right. I was taking meds, but it takes 10 years to get these balanced so that I'm as good as what you see. And you can see it's going to be another 10 before I'm even close to normal. So I was pissed. And so I went and took 60, number 10, diazepam, Valium. And then I started to get a little woozy, and my wife drags me over to the hospital, and I'm in the emergency room, and the doctor says, what happened? And I said, well, I accidentally overdosed on Valium. And he said, well, what'd you do, take 2 or 3? And I said, no, 60. 60? Yes, sir. He says, that's not accidental. I said, well, I wasn't feeling good, so I thought the more I took, the more... He knew it was a suicide. He knew it was a suicide, but he didn't want to put it into my record, so he didn't. And I appreciate that very much. He was a wise man. And he did an angiogram, and I have to thank the Mormons for this. And he looked up in my heart. I think I was about 35. And he said, you don't smoke and you don't drink, do you? And I said, no, sir. He says, it shows. He says, your arteries and everything show that you're not abusing drugs and whatever. Thank you very much. So anyway, I have tried to take it out of there myself, my meds, and I haven't had a lot of good luck. Jesus. I took 1,200 units of Humalog. That's short acting. Humalog, you know, within half an hour, 45 minutes, you're right there. And the police showed up, pulled me over. I thought I could drive like that. They go, I passed that truck pretty well, didn't I? And they looked down on the ground in the passenger's carpet area there, and they go, looks like you got about 50 or 60 needles there. And I said, yeah. Some of them are dull, so I had to use others. I go, it's a suicide. We know it's a suicide. So I'm sitting there like this, and he goes, well, I see you have a handicap sticker. And I said, yes, sir. Does that allow me to to park here overnight? He says, no. He says, you're going to have 2 choices now. One of them is we're going to take you into the police department. You're going to be arrested for DUI, and it's going to be on your record. Your insurance is going to go to shit. You're going to have to get a $10,000 attorney I said, wait. What's the other choice? She said, the hospital. I said, you know what? I think I'm going to take the second choice on this one. It's a hard deal, but I'm going to take second. I passed out. I don't know how the hell they got me out of the car. In those days, I'm at 277 right now. In those days, I was at 300 pounds. And when you try to drag a 300-pound old man out of the car, I don't know, you get a crane, back the ambulance up and throw a chain around, pull him out, and then pick him up and put him in. So I remember I was coming to now and then in the ambulance, and when it was going real bumpy, and then I got to the hospital, and they cut my shirt off. Now, that was a good shirt. Now, I'm going to tell you something. If you're going to kill yourself, take your shirt off. It won't be cut up. It was a good shirt, and so they cut it off. And I have another video on this, but the funniest part of this whole thing is I escaped like Jack Nicholson from the hospital because I was paranoid, weren't balanced, thought everybody was after me. And when I escaped, they were. I started in the neighborhood, and I was partially dressed, knocking on the doors in the winter, saying, you know, can you tell me where my car is? Because they had impounded it, and I didn't know where it was, or the airport. I knew they had it over by the airport. And it's funny, the people wouldn't come out and talk to me. They shut the door. Well, pretty soon the police showed up, and they're looking at me, and pretty soon the hospital staff are all coming out, trying to get me back in the hospital. And so I'm running. Now, if you've never seen a 300-pound man run in the snow down an embankment, you're missing a lot of fun in life. Well, I go down, and it's not like being on a sled. It's like a freight train that went over the railing on a crossing. So anyway, I'm in the bottom, and I'm in the mud and the blood and the beer, and I'm crawling like a bug. Pretty soon, they're trying to pull me up. They got my hands, and they take me up a foot, and then I slip back. My face is in the mud. I'm going, is this medically sound? And they go, well, tell you what, we're going to send one of the nurses down there. And I said, well, now, you know, I'm more interested in that. She's as cute as could be. And so they pushed the nurse in kind of face down. So they held on to her hands. And then, you know, she said, grab my butt. Well, she didn't have to say that more than once. So I'm feeling much better now. I don't feel as paranoid as I did. And I'm trying to dig my feet back there because I don't want to slide out too soon. She goes, harder. I said, well, okay, I've heard that before. She drags my ass out of there, and they put me in a wheelchair, and off I go back into the hospital. And the doctor says to me, when he got me back in there, he says, well, have you ever been committed for bipolar? And I said, no, sir, because he was thinking of it after seeing that. And the police are just standing there. The police are just standing there laughing their ass off because they know I'm not going anywhere. They knew I didn't have a weapon on me because I wasn't dressed. You know, they knew that was no weapon. So, anyway, those of you that are diagnosing now, you know, sometimes I will shave, but the scar shows more. So, you know, those of you that are medical, let me know what's wrong with me. Those of that you are psychiatric, I know what's wrong with me psychiatric. I'm bipolar, and without the meds, I've never been delusional. Well, I used to have delusions when I was in college, and Marie Osmond would come up on campus and sing. I don't know if that's delusional or just fantasies. I don't know what the difference between fantasies and delusional was, but just because I went up on the stage with my tongue hanging out 2 feet, screaming, Marie, it's me, you know, they pulled me back as an ass to the bard. give him you know, give him an enema, he'll be much better. So anyway, the meds, let me tell you guys that are on meds and should be on meds. When you start taking the right meds and you start feeling good, the first thing you do, throw the meds away. I did it over and over again in my younger life. I got nothing wrong with me. The meds would wear off after a week or so, and suddenly I'm screaming, slamming doors, screaming, Marie, where are you? Just all kinds of silly psychiatric things. So I've learned from old age and from experience that if I want to be out of the jail, which I've never been in, out of the mental institution, I've been in 2 or 3 times. I admitted myself, and certainly upon referral and request. You just walk in because you can get out in 72 hours, and when they take my belt, my pants fall off, and they take my shoelaces, my shoes fall off. I don't like the mental place. And you go in, and you sit around in a circle with a lot of crazy people. I'm Jesus. I'm Moses. It came to me, I go, God, I'm only the bard. I'm in a really important group here. And there was 2 or 3 Jesuses there, so I believe in Jesus. I've seen him. I've seen him. And I told you this once before in another video. I shouldn't repeat this shit. You ought to go look at him. I was selling ice cream once at the Ojai Bowl Art Center. And I'm doing pretty good, you know, kids coming up, people coming up. Pretty soon this guy comes up and dressed totally like Jesus. He was in the robes. He had Jesus boots on, had the hairdo, had the beard. And I said, may I help you? And he says, yes, I want an ice cream for free. I said, well, why should you get it for free? You're the king of the universe. You're a god. You got $1.25, don't you? He goes, no, I don't. I said, well, God, you got millions and millions of followers. Can any of them chip in? He goes, I don't think so. I said, go get the Mormons. They'll give you 10%, man. You can buy the ice cream. So we argued whether Jesus should get a free ice cream. And then he said, well, you know where you're going. I said, yeah, I'm going to the bank with your money, so get the hell away from me. I'm not giving you my hard-earned money, Jesus. So he went off. So anyway, this takes time. This takes a lot of time. It may take 10 years if you're, you know, really screwed up. You may never get it. You may never get it balanced. And I have every day in here 10 meds that I take. And some of them are for thinning the blood in my heart so that I don't have to go back and do this again. And several of them are here for depression, and several are here to balance paranoia. And I used to have 2 or 3 that were supposed to work in another area. I got my money back on those. You know what? You can put as much gas in a car as you want. But if it don't have no engine, you ain't going nowhere. Listen to the bard. Gas don't mean shit. You gotta have a motor for the gas. Anyway. So anyway, the small aspirin. I love being the baby aspirin. It makes me feel young again. So anyway, I just wanted to let you take a look at what you're missing. And my little friend, you can rub that. Yeah, that does feel pretty good now I think about it. And it's fake. I wasn't born here. That's not really an umbilical cord. I wasn't born here. I was transported here, and they asked me, do you want an artificial belly button so the people won't know? I shit, yeah, give me one of those. He says, do you want an artificial butt so they won't know? I go, yeah, I'll take one of those too. He says, do you want a real penis? I go, well, I'd like one. Well, we're all out of those. You'll have to go down there with that. Jeez, you know. That's a disadvantage. You go, well, since you're coming from the gods, you know, you won't need that much. And I go, well, you know, 14 kids later, I needed it. So anyway, take a look. Anything you suggest that I need to do and clean up, and yeah, I'll take a shower after this because I feel dirty. I feel millions wanting to rub that little Buddha belly. So, I do have health in the navel, marrow in the bones, strength in the loins, and in the sin. I don't know what a sinew is. Is that testicles? I don't know. I think it is. Power and the priesthood be upon me and upon my posterity through all generations of time and throughout all eternity. And you can cut my head off now. That's okay. Rip my heart out, rip my guts out, because I did a video that they're able to sew heads back on. So ISIS, that ain't much of a punishment anymore. The family can go pick the body up, pick the head up, sew it back on, and ISIS is out of business. So, pay me, lay me, and ail me. That's what's kept me healthy, the true order of prayer. I have prayed and prayed for Marie Osmond, but that's why I became atheist. Jesus didn't do shit for me. So this part's gone.